With us now is Dr. Walid Phares. Thank you very much for joining us. As was mentioned here, the general perception is that Iran would not want an all-out war with Israel. Do you agree?
Well, all-out war is a very vast notion. An all-out strike, couple strikes, blitz is very possible. But their calculations are not just about a one-way. Their calculations are if the Israeli population, not the government, not the army, not the armed forces, or even their allies, the United States, if the general population can be hit deeply and constantly by waves coming not just from Iran, this whole story about Iran arming ICBMs or so, that wouldn't do it. They would need to have Lebanon's Hezbollah completely in the issue, activities in the West Bank. And now what we see in Jordan happening is also a matter of concern. So if they have that much of a plan and then negotiate immediately after for a ceasefire, that would be what they would do, but not a full-fledged marching orders for troops to advance. I don't think so.
You don't believe that? Well, you've mentioned Jordan. Let's elaborate a little bit about what's happening in Jordan, in your opinion.
In Jordan, you have two things. Number one, there has been over months and years, even before October 7, a constant effort by the Iran regime, by their satellites, Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq, the militias, and of course by Hamas to infiltrate Jordan. Jordanian intelligence services have been very aware of the matter. The Muslim Brotherhood also are working on their own for the matter. But after October 7, it seems to me that Iran, Hamas, less so with Hezbollah, have looked at Jordan as the potential replacement, strategic replacement if Hamas loses in Gaza. That's their view. So the way to do it for them is to create chaos. They count on the fact that there are a lot of course, segments of society in Jordan that are, number one, originally from the Palestinian territories, and second, that Hamas and Muslim Brotherhood and jihadists are omnipresent. They don't project that they're going to win and take over a regime, but creating chaos, as the PLOs tried to do. Remember, 1970, Black September, that would be what they would eventually work on.
And how do you see this replacement of Gaza by Jordan, in their view?
That's a doctrine, meaning if Hamas is completely taken out from Gaza, first it's going to stay in the underground, but Hamas as a government, as a regime, they will use the motivation of that collapse to inflame their supporters in Jordan. And as we witnessed in this Lebanese civil war, things are not done overnight. So at first they would say, well, we want half the government to be part of what they call the resistance, national resistance in Jordan. They will put pressure on the Hashemite kingdom. They will actually activate their cells. They will clash with the army, the Jordanian army. But these calculations are very tight. Now, we know that they are omnipresent on the northern border of Jordan, Syria, and of course coming from Iraq. But these calculations could be very, very risky. Remember, the U.S. is present in Syria and Iraq. Israel has now ways and means that did not exist before. And there is a segment of Jordanian and even Syrian population that really don't want to hear about neither Hamas nor Iran nor the Brotherhood.
Now, meanwhile, we are talking and are busy with all this stuff that's happening around, and Iran is kind of free to go on with its nuclear program. This is actually good for them.
You're right. That's a very good point. The majority of the observers and analysts believe that, the normal process of an Iranian bomb is what they are producing. I am among some minorities here in Washington who believe that maybe the first nuclear weapon that they're going to have may not be a full-fledged nuclear bomb, but a tactical nuke that can be bought, that can be acquired, that can be transferred somewhere in Asia. And then the Iranian regime is, instead of throwing it against enemy, because they know this will signify the end of their regime if they even think about it, they will detonate it in Iran and try to do what India and Pakistan have done in 1999 to say, we are a nuclear force, we are a nuclear power, therefore nobody can touch us. That would deter at least this administration, the Biden administration. And this is something they have the power to do. Will they calculate, to do it soon, later? I am not sure about that.
Okay, Dr. Walid Phares, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.